From Washington, D.C., welcome to the Harness Racing Alumni Show. I'm Freddie Hudson, and I'm here today with Trade Martin and Bob Marks.
The Harness Racing Alumni Show with your hosts, Freddie Hudson and Trade Martin.
This week's Alumni Show is brought to you by Bill Houghton, insuring standardbreds and farms for over 40 years. Bill knows the ins and outs of equine insurance. Make sure your equine investments are protected. Call or text Bill at 954-655-5547. That's 954-655-5547. Call Bill now.
Freddie, tell us about the yearlings at the sales by Hunterton Farms.
Hunterton Farms, selling their 2021 yearlings at the Lexington Select Sale, October 5th through the 9th, and the Harrisburg Sale, November 8th through the 12th. For more information, call 859-987-3983, Hunterton Farms, or email huntertonfarm@cs.com. Joining us today is Art Gray, the president of Gray & Associates Consultant and former presiding judge with the New York State Racing and Gaming Commission. Art, welcome on the show.
Thank you, Freddie.
Art, you recently sent a letter to the editor to several media, horse racing media sources. Tell us a little bit about that letter.
Well, initially for two major issues that I have focused on throughout my career was the right of exclusion, and most recently the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority. The situations with the 2018 and the recent problems with the Triple Crown, with the Kentucky Derby, and the medication issues have really brought a lot of focus on these two issues. As far as the right of exclusion, is nothing that bothers a legitimate trainer more than seeing a trailer show up with the name of a barred trainer alongside, and their help bringing your horses into the paddock, and at times there have been accusations where 2 or possibly 3 horses have entered into a race from the same barn, but because of the false trainers listed down on the program and on the entry, the horses get in and they're able to race against each other. The right of exclusion is something that, for a reason that escapes me, commissions have not wanted to follow up on. There are rules. Most jurisdictions, I would say all jurisdictions, have rules about fraudulent entries, about misrepresentation, about racing fraud. And unfortunately, on this issue, on feared trainers competing against legitimate trainers, it's something that the commissions, they actually don't shy away from it. They don't follow through on it. They don't want to touch it. I mean, I've had several issues going back maybe 20 years where I attempted to have a trainer bring in his records and to show that he has been in the care and training of the horse, and that he's not just covering up for another trainer. And it's been shot down by commissions in numerous jurisdictions.
Wouldn't you think that the other trainers would jump in here and just say, "Hey, this guy's not really training these horses"?
Well, I've had many trainers come to me and complain, and owners have called and complained, and unfortunately, I tell them the same thing that I've been just explaining to you here, and that unless the commissions are willing to do something, that there is little recourse other than for the racetracks to exercise their court-proven right of exclusion to eliminate these, bar these trainers from these beer trainers from competing. Jeff Garral, I worked with Jeff starting in 2006 with Tioga, and he wanted to exercise his right of exclusion. But upon discussing, I stress that it has to be something that is done in a fair and equitable manner, that we don't want, be barring individuals that don't deserve it. So due diligence is necessary to make sure that that the individual that is being barred certainly deserves it.
Right.
And
well,
Jeff did. Oh, go ahead.
Well, let's talk about Baffert being barred by the New York State Racing and Gaming Commission.
Right, Baffert. This is a critical move for horse racing. I mean, something that many of the racetracks, well, most racetracks, there's only a few, most prominently Jeff Corral, that has attempted to use the right of exclusion to not to go against what the commissions are doing, but to the racetracks have a power and authority and rules that they can exercise and rights that they have, and the commissions have their set of rules, and that both can be worked on and work together without, it's not an adversarial, or it shouldn't be an adversarial situation. Bob's problems with the 2018 and 2021 Kentucky Derby are well known, and NYRA, and it was first Churchill and then NYRA excluding Bob due to his issues over the medication issues over the last two Kentucky Derbies, have exercised their right. The racetrack has a right to make a decision to bar any individual that they deem could not be in the best interest of the facility. And NYRA, following through and standing firm, exercising their right of exclusion in this effort, it should be a watershed moment. I mean, this is not just in this country. I mean, around the world, the Kentucky Derby is the biggest race, the most famous race, and having a trainer that has had medication issues in the last two Kentucky Derbies, that the NYRA executed their right of exclusion, and they should be heralded for it. I've received calls from this article, regarding this article, from Texas, from California, and New York, from individuals that read the article, and they have all said basically the same thing, that Bob Baffert is always on the line, ready to cross the line, and the trainers and owners in California are fed up with him pushing the envelope on the rules, and the California Horse Racing Board seemingly going out of their way to protect him. So this is huge. The NYRA exercising their right of exclusion and sticking to their guns. It's a major move for horse racing. It shows that the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Act is an absolute necessity. No one now, after what's happened with these two Kentucky Derbies, can say that that there is no need for one regulatory agency or entity to address the drug issues in horse racing.
All right, how do you think the Medina Spirit investigation is going to finally resolve itself? Where do you think that's going to go?
Well, he's going to have to. They're going to have to follow through. With the investigation. I think the horse is going to be placed. It's just like I said, with what the California Horse Racing Board has done or not done to I don't know if they're going to say they're protecting racing or if they're protecting Bob Baffert. Or, it's something that needs, it needs to be focused on. And the Medina Spirit, I think, will be placed. I mean, the horse, there's a trainer's responsibility rule, and that stating that a trainer is responsible for the care and management of a horse, and that the trainer is ultimately responsible whether they are hands-on, whether they actually were involved in whatever it took to create the drug positive, or if it was someone that worked for him. But I think Medina Spirit will be placed. I would imagine now Bob has filed a lawsuit trying to say that via the 14th Amendment that his rights of due process are being are being voided. And he's also said that what NYRA has done has irreparably caused damage to his reputation.
Well, they didn't cause damage to his reputation. He caused his own damage to his reputation.
You're right. That's what NYRA has said in the response, that the damage to his reputation was self-inflicted.
Yeah, correct.
And NYRA filed a brief in court to have Bob's lawsuit dismissed, and the judge said that it could go forward, but this is going to be a big decision for horse racing. I mean, if this judge, if the court overturns NYRA's right to exclude a trainer that they feel is not any benefit to the racetrack itself, their Horse Racing Integrity Act or not, that is going to be a major blow, because I think this NYRA doing this will open the door for others to feel more comfortable following Jeff Corral's lead. So this is a big thing in racing. We're going to have to see what happens down the road. Down the road with this.
Well, I'm going to change the subject here a little bit. HISA, will take effect July 1st next year. Right. Do you think the harness racing industry needs to join HISA now, or should the industry take a wait and see approach?
Well, no, the wait and see approach is what has us in the dire straits that we're in now. We need to get on board and to work with the thoroughbred and quarter horse entities to make sure that harness racing is included. It's unfortunately the main focus has been all on thoroughbred racing, and the individuals, the directors, and the committees that were put together for the new racing authority have not included anyone from harness racing, either an executive or a horseman. Matter of fact, the only horseman that's involved that's on any of the committees is Johnny Velasquez.
Correct. And my last question for you is going to be going totally in the different direction. Any thoughts about the no whipping situation at Monmouth in New Jersey?
Well, I've talked a lot with jockeys, with former jockeys, and having no whip, there's going to be times when a jockey is going to need to use the whip to make sure that a horse isn't lugging in or bearing out. So in those instances, it's a safety factor. So I believe I don't think that it's a good idea to what Monmouth is doing. And you can see how the number of jocks that have that normally compete there have chosen not to participate in Monmouth and going to other racetracks. Even as far as limiting the number of times you can go to the snapper or the whip. You're coming down the stretch in heated, competition. You're not stopping to think, okay, I hit him once, I can do it again. I can, 1, 2, or 3 times and keep track. And then just, no matter what recourse, no matter what the incident is coming down the stretch, if the jock is getting fined for a fourth violation, for a fourth use of the whip, that's I can see limiting, but it's still something that will be difficult, that it's going to take a while for the jocks to get used to.
If you're buying or selling your home, Joe Rico is your go-to guy. Joe has been representing buyers and sellers on Long Island for 30 years. He is an expert in all types of sales. Don't settle for average. Call or text Joe Rico today at 516-524-4870. That's Joe Rico at 516-524-4870.
Freddie, you got his email address?
Yes, I do. That's Joe Rico, C21@yahoo.com. All right, that brings us pretty much to a close of this week's show. I thank you so much for being on the show. That's a wrap for this week's broadcast. This is Freddie Hudson signing off, and thanks for listening, and have a great week.
The Harness Racing Alumni Show